I know it has been a really long day, but it's been full of great information so that we can get a feel for all the candidates. So I'm going to turn it over now to Ms. Mary Mitchell, who's been our gracious host today. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So, Tiffany, since you chose to do the closing, and I hate to make the assumption that everybody knows who you are and your background or anything like that. So I want to start off, before I even get to the vision, is who are you?
Well, my name is Attorney Tiffany Brooks. I am a lifelong resident of South Shore. My family migrated from Woodlawn to South Shore about almost 50 years ago. And they were the third black family on the block that we currently own the house on. And my grandmother was a member of TWO, and I've come from a working class family. I graduated from Hyde Park Career Academy. I attended Rockaway Black Magnet School. So I am a homegrown candidate and a Chicago Public Schools graduate. I attended Loyola University, the Northside campus, as well as the Water Tower campus. And I also matriculated from the John Marshall Law School, which is 315 South Clinton. So.
Okay. All right. So from there, we'd like to get a sense of your vision. When you look at South Shore and you think about the future of South Shore, what is your vision for the ward and for the community?
Well, let me just say that having lived here so long, I just remember South Shore from many, many years ago. There was not a Dominick's Mall. There was houses there. This is before they leveled everything, when Aquinas was still up. And I just envisioned South Shore as thriving, as flourishing, community-based, community-built, something where it's not just about bringing in mostly businesses, but it's about also bringing people together. So not only is 71st Street once again up and running as the main artery, the business artery here, but there's also our schools are flourishing, our children are safe. We know each other. We're able to go next door, down the street, up the street, around the corner if we want, and not feel as if we're going to be shot. We don't have to go to 71st and Jeffrey to the Walgreens and have a sense of, oh my God, I don't want to go out there because I don't want to talk to other people that are going to be begging me for, But if we provide these people with opportunities, prayerfully they will accept these opportunities, especially the youth. And that way we can clean up the streets. If we clean up the streets and make them safe, then we can court businesses to come in. We can improve crime. We can bring the crime level, I don't mean improve safety, bring the crime levels down. And we can encourage our children to do better.
Okay. As part of this interview process, the Planning Coalition has strong views about an alderperson or future alderperson having strong ties to the community. And that means, the types of activities you've been involved in the community. Can you name 3 things that you have led or co-led in the 5th Ward?
Sure. I haven't led specifically anything in the 5th Ward. However, I worked for about a decade at the little bank that's closed on the corner on 71st and Jeffrey Shore Bank. I was a community lending specialist there. I have helped, oh my God, over, thousands of people either maintain their homes, refinance them out of predatory loans. I've helped them to either come out of bad 80-20 loans. Some of them just wanted to achieve home ownership. Some of them were looking to consolidate bills. But I've reached out. My base was within the bank. That's where I chose to. Before I was at the bank, I was at 61st and University with Lutheran Child and Family Services. I was a caseworker. So I went to the bank, and my base was community-based there. Now, through the bank, I've done the mentoring program, the scholarship program, which was connected to CPS, the Principal for a Day program, the Working in the Schools with WITS program. I've done all of those. We were very heavily educational-based and very heavily affordable housing-based. That's where my base was, and that's what I did as far as the community is concerned. I have clients, they're probably gone now, that came to see us, or came to see me, because guess what? I helped save their home. I help people. I still have clients today who call me and say, Ms. Brooks, I want to thank you.
So what does a healthy relationship between an alder person and a community look like? Is it just, ward nights where they come out and come to the ward? Is it, office hours where you post your office hours and you make sure someone's there while you're downtown? What is your view of what a healthy relationship between an alder person and the community should look like?
Well, a healthy relationship definitely includes those things. Your ward office should be open to the public at all times. And you should be available in that ward office at some point. When you're not downtown, you need to be walking through your ward. They need to have town hall meetings. The people need to touch, feel, and see their leadership. They need to be able to know that you're there and that you will respond to them and speak to them. Mostly what I've heard from the residents is that they don't feel they're able to relate to the alderman. The alderman won't speak to them or what have you. And I don't plan to be that person. I've always been the same person who I am today and tomorrow and next year and next week. So I don't plan on changing. It's a very, very tough balance to be able to intermingle with not only the bureaucracy. You have to be able to go down there and negotiate, but you also have to be able to reach out to your community and listen to them. If one thing I am as an attorney is an excellent listener, and that's one thing that I do plan to do for the constituents, is listen to them and bring results. So you have to have all of those things in place and find a fine balance there. You also need participatory budgeting and things of that nature.
So you gave us a great view of what the future South Shore would look like. You know, it's a safe community, it's a thriving community for flourishing. How are you going to get there? How would you make, you know, a community that's now starving for business and retail business on 71st Street and then on the Stony Island corridor, how would you turn that into thriving? What tools would you use?
Well, we need to bring in place some community policing, and we need to clean these streets up. I mean, there's no way the businesses are going to come to the community if they can't feel safe. And nobody wants to live where they don't feel safe. Nobody wants to shop where they don't feel safe. If they feel like they're going to be robbed the minute they come out of the store, nobody's going to bring that to their revenue here. So we have to build South Shore into a safe community. We need to have a public safety alliance, something similar to Woodlawn, community policing. All the community needs to be involved. We all need to be held accountable to one another, to ourselves, to the community. And we need to also bring in a self-sustaining mechanism. And that's a piece for economic development, but we have to raise revenue and reinvest it into the community so that we can go out to a major retailer and say, hey, look, we are a thriving community. But if you want to be a part of this, then come and check us out. Come and see what we have to offer you and what you can offer us and our schools and our children.
When you talk about raising revenue, specifically, are you talking about management of the TIFs that's available? Do you think that we have too many TIFs? Do we have fewer TIFs? Do you look at it as we've gotten the biggest bang for our buck in terms of TIFs in this community?
Well, speaking of TIFs, I mean, there's always issues of transparency and accountability. We have to look at that first and foremost. The TIF money has to be allocated for what it's allocated for, and that's the community. And it has to be actually used there, and the results need to be tangible and manifested. They cannot be, oh, we were going to do this. And then if there's money left over, then the community should vote on where is that money going to go. Is it returned? Is it allocated for another resource? We cannot just sweep it under the rug or say, oh, we're going to use that later, and then it's never really revealed as to where it is or what happened to it. So we have to use transparency and accountability. But as for the self-sustaining mechanism piece, what I was speaking of is I've been talking and in talks with an entity in a group about bringing a robotics plant in the community, in the 5th Ward, that would offer jobs, job skills, jobs creation, things of that nature. And they would first and foremost offer it to the residents of the 5th Ward in all of the communities, regardless if it's Great Grand Crossing, Woodlawn, South Shore. And then we would partner with contiguous wards that would want to be a part of that, and we would offer them as well. But then the money, the revenue raised, we would reinvest it here, because we have to make sure that we take care of home first. We have to take care of ourselves. We cannot rely on City Hall, on the elected officials and the leadership to do it. We have to take care of ourselves, one with each other. That's where it starts first.
So what do you think the primary role is for the alderman today? You know, before it was organizing people to get reelected or passing out jobs or that sort of thing. Today, Is it services? Is it legislation? Is it rezoning? What is the most important role you think an alderman has today?
Well, I always say this, I'm a public servant. I'm an attorney. I take care of other people's problems. I handle their problems every single day. That's what I do. That's what I love. There's a difference between being a public servant and serving the public. I serve the public. That's what I want to do. That's what the alderman should be doing. It encompasses everything you just said and then some. So whether or not, whatever your ward is in most need of, because you're going to go to city council and you're going to vote citywide for different things, but you better believe that you first take care of where you live and where you spend your dollars and where your people are, because those are the people that are standing behind you and backing you when you're going up against the mayor and the other 49 people that sit on that council. So if the 5th Ward says your most important role today is getting us a grocery store, or your most important role is improving these schools, getting some professional development for these principals and teachers and their staff, that's what my task is. That's what I'm going to do, whatever the people dictate, because those are the people that live there, who I have to face every day, and who voted me into office because they put a trust in me.
All right, thank you very much. And we want to open it up to questions from the floor.
If Jackson Park is picked for the Obama Presidential Library location, what plans do you have to replace all athletic facilities that will be destroyed when the library is built?
That's a great question. We definitely cannot afford to strip our youth of any activities. They already don't have enough to do and enough available to them. What I always say is, it's not that the 5th Ward lacks assets or resources, because we are asset and resource rich. We have the lakefront, we have so many things available. The museum campus, it's not that. But the leadership lacks in order to distribute these assets and these resources. So first and foremost, you're going to have to come up with a plan on how they plan to replace what they want to take from my ward. That's what they have to do. And then the aldermen in the contiguous wards, along with myself, will sit down and we will see whether we will accept that plan or not. And we will fight the university and whomever else stands in the way.
What do you plan on, or how do you plan on working with the planning coalition that's already here? The South Shore plan.
The South Shore Planning Coalition. Well, first and foremost, thank you for the Planning Coalition for inviting me out today, and thank you, Ms. Mitchell, for moderating, and thank you all for waiting to hear me. But I would, in whatever capacity that they needed the most help, I will sit down with them and we can have a meeting and how we can assist each other. But as the alderman, again, I said, I'm serving the public. So if they say, Alderman, what we need to do is bring the business or business owners together and in alignment. We need incubators for more small businesses. We need, other such things as that. I will be more than happy to work with them in anything, in any capacity they need.
I'd like to ask a question. I'm looking at Maggie Daly Park downtown.
I'm looking at
And it's beautiful, and I love it. But, if you spend that much money right there, and I hear friends in the park always talking, I don't see nobody laudering for us to get parks in South Shore. We don't have no park for our children in South Shore.
That's true.
Rosenblum Park was there when my kids were small. They went there, the boys club is gone, everything disappeared. We don't have any of that. Where's the, and I'm all for Friends of the Park. Friends of the Park ain't doing it for South Shore. We got open land everywhere you can look. All that land that they're redeveloping over there on the backside. Where's our park? Where's our park?
So that
I'm just going to do a clarification. So you're asking her what she would do to bring a park?
Yes.